Hey there, holes, poles, guys, gals, chicks, dicks, whatever we want to call you guys, whatever you guys want to be called. Thanks for checking out this episode. We have a big interview coming up with Frances from Awkward Essentials, bringing up some stuff that some guys don't really think about often. Once you come inside your girl, your partner, where does it go, or how do they get rid of it, kind of thing. So stick around for that. But before we get to it, we want to mention our friends at Manscaped, who are awesome enough to sponsor with us. You guys have been awesome enough to respond. You can go to manscaped.com, use promo code COMEWITHUS, just our name. Come With Us is the promo code. You get 20% off. You get free shipping. You can check out the new Lawnmower 4.0. Been using it weekly, trimming up the stuff downstairs. Summer's going to be here. I mean, I'll use it on my shoulders, my back, instead of actually, using the hair removal stuff. Blades are awesome. They are nice and sharp, but they keep you safe. There's a little light on there, so when you're down there below your junk, you can actually see what you're doing, because sometimes when you're bent over like that, you're blocking your own light source. So go check it out. They've got that. They've got the Weed Whacker, which is great on your ear hair, your nose hair, trimming up all that other stuff, because you don't want to be that guy with his nose hair growing into his mustache. It's kind of creepy and weird.
And you don't want to be that woman with the little stray nose hair that comes out.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're gray too.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
Yeah. Just because their name is Manscaped doesn't mean ladies can't use it either. I know my wife wants to try to steal my Lawnmower 4.0.
I love it. I love that thing.
Yeah.
And I don't like lawnmowers generally.
Yeah.
That one I love.
But between that, the ball toner, the chafing stuff, the spritz, everything, they have so much stuff that makes all your grooming stuff so much easier and helps keep you clean, helps keep you smelling good. Because again, if your balls aren't smelling good, how do you expect your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, to want to go down there and spend time down there? So get to manscaped.com, use promo code COMEWITHUS, get 20% off your order and free shipping. Just to tell them that we sent you, and yeah, your balls will thank you. All right, let's get this thing going.
Are you saying you faked with me?
Yeah.
Wrong. Now you're single.
What do you know about sexual relations?
Is it true that if you don't use it, you lose it?
I'm a little worried about being a slut.
You're listening to the Come With Us podcast, talking the good, the kinky, and the ugly. Here are your hosts, Beth, Aaron, and Tina.
Hello, 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 all you sexy holes and poles. Welcome to Come With Us podcast, where you're part of all the naughty, sexy, fun conversations that everyone wants to listen in on. Because you never know what you're going to learn here. And today, I'm, my mid-50s. I have never seen a product like this. I am so excited that we have as our guest, we have Frances Tang from Awkward Essentials, who created a product called the Dripstick. And we're going to talk about how this little stick can make things so much less awkward for you. So, all right, welcome, Aaron, Tina, and of course, Frances. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you. Excited to chat with you guys.
All right. So let me tell you, everybody knows already, I'm a former divorce lawyer turned who flipped, and now I'm a love, sex, and relationship coach. So I know very well what it's like to sort of start out on one path, a very mainstream path, and then switch to something in the world of sex, which immediately causes people to go, oh my gosh, you do what? How? Oh, wow. Well, Frances was also, let's say she grew up in the Bay Area, assumed that she'd go to college, get a job in a glass office building, and take that, quote, normal route. And initially, she did that. Found a job in corporate marketing, paid the bills, but left her feeling wanting. I definitely know that feeling. So also, though, what I like is that she was dissatisfied with the lack of convenient solutions for post-sexy fun. And, guys, well, they can just wipe off with whatever and go on. But women, it's a little bit more complicated. And we're going to talk about, I think all of us have a few stories in that regard. But instead, Frances used her own ingenuity, creativity, and then created a product that would do better, not just replace the towel, the sexy towel, but do better. And her Dripstick absorbs fluid post-sex, and dozens of iterations. It is a small sponge with a handle, insert inside a woman, swirl it around, absorb, and thus the Dripstick. So now Awkward Essentials is her company. And in fact, they've just launched a new product and everything. And we're going to get into the Dripstick, all the products, how, why, and everything. So again, Frances, yay for being here and yay for taking a big, bold step in the world of practical, sexy, fun, and helping people enjoy it more.
So if I could start off, where did this idea come from for you? Like, how did it form? What was this something that you were experiencing? Because I certainly know that I do. So, how did this come to fruition?
Yeah, so I'm married, have been on birth control for a long time, no longer on birth control because I'm housing a child in my uterus. But
congrats. That's awesome.
Thank you. So the after sex cleanup just always bothered me. I just was someone that didn't like it. And so, I think a lot of us are familiar with like having to like roll off the bed and trying to make it to the bathroom before it all drips down your leg and just like sitting over the toilet and wiping. And it got to the point for me where I would like jump in the shower after sex every single time and like stick my finger inside and kind of like try to scoop it out. Because I just didn't, the way my body worked, I was dealing with it like the next day. I'd be in a meeting at work and then just like feel something, or you're walking around, or like you said, you're at the grocery store and you're like, is that my period? And you have no idea if it's your period or like from your partner the night before. And so I really love,
because men may not know this, right? Because women, we don't talk about it a lot to men. And so here's the thing, our audience is primarily men. Here's the thing, what goes up, some of it finds its way, and that's why we need birth control and contraceptives, but otherwise it literally just drips its way out. And that is just very true. And some women, and sometimes there's a lot and it comes out, and sometimes it's a day or two later that this stuff is coming, and makes our underwear kind of messy, makes it not very comfortable sometimes. So yeah, this is not just a weird, isolated issue, right? This is for pretty much every woman out there, one way or the other, it's coming out.
Yeah, and I think all bodies are different, and some people don't have it like the next day or overnight. It's not dripping in their sheets, which is totally fine. But for me, it lasted like a day or two, and it was really irritating. And so every time I like go to the internet and try to look up a solution, I was scouring like the depths of Reddit, Yahoo Answers, and just like these weird forum places trying to find an answer, and everyone pretty much said the same thing, like sacrificial towel, or use underwear, or take a shower. But I'm kind of like an efficiency type weirdo person, and so I'm like, okay, but it's inside, it's not outside, it's not an outside issue, it's an internal issue,
right?
And so how can this be solved internally? This sounds like it's left field, but I really love baking, and there's like a rubber spatula that you find in a kitchen when you're just like trying to scrape something out of a bowl, cake batter, sauce, whatever. And so anytime I would scrape cake batter out of a bowl, which is a very thick substance, I would think like, wow, it'd be so great if I had a spatula for my vagina, just like my finger in the shower, where I could scoop it all out. And so
I love that.
That was the initial inspiration. And then from there, it's not a spatula, it's a medical grade sponge, and it's like soft. But that's where the initial inspiration struck. And then it took a while to get to what it is now.
Yeah. And describe the product as it is now. And you said it's medical grade, you said it's a sponge. So what exactly is, if you had to visually describe it, and maybe how to use it too?
I'm not sure if you're posting a video of this, but this is what it is. There's a medical grade sponge. It's about the size of a tampon. And the reason why it's a sponge is because it's more porous. And so it can absorb more like viscous substances as opposed to like something that's more thin over an extended period of time. There's a handle with kind of like a paddle at the end so that you can twist it when it's inside of you. The way that it works is that you insert it into the vaginal canal only when there's cum. If there's no cum, we don't recommend using this. It's for that purpose. It's not for cleaning or anything else. Like there needs to be enough cum in there so that it has something to actually absorb, or else you don't need this because vaginas are self-cleaning. And so
because it'll absorb your own natural moisture and wetness and stuff, and that you don't want to go out. That's stuff that naturally should stay in there. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Okay. So we try to make it very clear, like cum only, it's not for any other purpose. So you insert, you twist it around, and then you remove it, and then that's pretty much it.
Wow. And so the sponge itself, because like Splooge it is a little bit like glue.
Splooge is our affectionate term.
It's like gluey, kind of, like thicker. So it does absorb that like thicker. Like, does it have to be a certain type of cum, or is it like, all
how many different kinds of cum
there's people who like have really thick cum. There's people who have like, I don't know, thin, whatever it is. So
yeah, I mean, we haven't done like lab testing on types of cum and the viscosity of it. But we do have a lot of pretty stoked customers.
Yeah.
That help.
I like you using the 7th grade science word viscosity.
Yeah,
Never thought I'd be using that when I grew up to be an adult. Now I am.
That's impressive, right? I just use the term spooge. I find that just very easy. Okay.
Wow.
So how long has the product been for sale? It's called the Dripstick. The Dripstick.
We've been on the market for a couple years now. So initially when I started the company, it was called Come and Gone.
Oh my God.
That's cute.
And I think that URL still directs to our website. But I knew that I wanted us to have more items in the future, which is why we rebranded to Awkward Essentials. But we've been on the market for a while. We have some really awesome, loyal folks who've been with us since the beginning. And when it was just me shipping out of my parents' house, like every Bay Area entrepreneur and founder. But now we're a little bit bigger. We're still a pretty small startup, and we just released a second product.
Congratulations. So what's the second product?
So our second product is called Mainstream, and it's a disposable pee funnel, so you can stand up and pee.
Oh, that's awesome, actually.
For women, obviously.
Yes, for women.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes. And is it like, you can use it like, I don't know, in the woods, and you just pee in it and it directs it straight down, right?
So you don't pee on your shoe and your pants?
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like an individual packet, and it comes with toilet paper inside. There's a small compact funnel that you can unfold, and it's just if you don't want to touch a bath, if you're, whether it's camping or you're pregnant or traveling or you're at a festival or concert or sticky bar bathroom, which bar bathrooms are always sticky for some reason. And you don't want to sit down on the toilet, then you can use it to stand up and pee.
Oh, I love this. You should be marketing those to doctor's offices, by the way, because peeing into this cup at the doctor's office, I don't know anybody who doesn't actually pee on their hands.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Or
really gross.
Drunk college girls. The amount of times I've peed in a corner, or I used to, not anymore.
Oh my God.
But
Yes. Okay. Wild stories. All right. Well, I like that. That's very cool. What's that product called?
It's called Mainstream.
Mainstream. Oh, very cute. Okay. All right, cool. We'll check that one out too.
So your whole company is called Awkward, right? Or
Awkward Essentials.
Awkward Essentials. And do you guys do you yourself or your company, do you guys have a goal in mind in terms of putting out sex related products that are obviously helping women? Is there, a bigger kind
mission statement?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we really like utilitarian solutions for behind the bathroom door problems. Mm-hmm. So whether it is peeing or hair or sweat or cum, it's just all those things that happen in the bathroom that we just don't talk about. But everyone has a bathroom.
Yeah. So it's just things that you don't want, as maybe Aaron can talk about this a little bit, but situations that probably men don't know a lot about, but all women probably deal with, on a day-to-day basis.
I mean, we don't. Yeah. That was for the longest time when my wife and I were dating, after sex, she would just lay there for a while. And then finally we got past that, trying to impress each other stage. And she was like, all right, I got to go. And I'd be like, what? She was like, no, you're all over the sheets. If I don't get up and go to the bathroom, and then I have to change the sheets when you leave. And I hate changing the sheets by myself. I was like, okay. And so it never occurred to me that hey, by the way, there's a lot of that up there. It's gonna come and that was a learning point. And like, and at first, you know, as a guy, it kind of went to my ego at first. And I was like, well, like, that's just who I, like, that's my stuff. Like, that's the whole point, is I was supposed to, like, I'm supposed to claim you in your mind. And then I was like, and then all of a sudden I started helping her change the sheets when we were dating. And I was like, yeah, this sucks. You do this like every weekend? She was like, yeah. And I was like twice a weekend? She was like, yeah. Why do you think I like send you to go get food? And then you come back and the sheets are a different color. Did you not notice that? And I was like, never even occurred to me.
Oh my God.
But that,
I would never do that, by the way. I would sleep in spoogy sheets, by the way.
Yeah, you would. She's like I've said. I said with John and Jackie. Yeah, huge like
germaphobe. Yeah,
germaphobe, I guess would be the right word. But even looking up like the mainstream, like from a guy's perspective, or I guess more of a technical perspective, looking at it, it's very efficient in the way, because like the way you described it, I started thinking, and I was thinking funnels, like, you know, funnels you would have in your kitchen, or funnels you would use to pour oil into a car. And I was like, how? Okay. Cause then you started mentioning, Tina, going out to a bar. And I was like, so how are you going to hide this if you're like a girl who has those little tiny clutch purses that you keep under your arm while you're dancing all night and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, how do you hide that? No, this actually like is folded down, and then you unfold it, and then it's disposable. So it's not something you have to go to the bathroom and then worry about, hey, is there enough soap in here to wash it off because I'm about to throw it back in my purse? Like, you use it and then you're done.
So it must be a paper.
It's like a cardboard,
but
it is interesting, right? Because I don't think a lot of guys think about us having to sit down and pee.
I mean, I think about that. I mean, I've thought about that before, and like, it is like, I guess I was probably in late high school or early college sometime where like it was just another house party, and I mean, being raised as a guy, the entire world is your bathroom. You got to pee, cool, unzip and go do it.
Yeah.
And that's what it like. That's the standard.
Only advantage of being.
I also grew up very redneck, so that's, you know, anytime. Still to this day, we have a house party. Hey, I got to pee. Okay, well, the bathrooms inside are for the women. Like, just go pick a spot in my backyard and go. Like, it's grass. It's gonna get cut. You'll be fine. There's a whole shed you can hide behind if you're nervous. So that's never like been a problem for guys. But then like, somewhere along the line, like, eventually you have this realization where like you see a line of women waiting in the bathroom, like, especially if you go out to like a music festival where it's out in nature, where you can literally walk behind a tree and pee, and then you see like 60, 70 women waiting for 3 porta potties, and you're like, God, I love the fact that I can just do it wherever I want.
Well, yeah, because the other thing is, even if because women, we can squat, but still,
it's a lot of leg muscle too.
It's a lot of leg muscles, and plus sometimes like our stream doesn't always just go in a certain place, and that's kind of a problem. It's everywhere. And
I will say, for every woman that bitches that, like, you know, hey, you got a little bit underneath the toilet seat. Okay, cool. Guess what? Now it's your turn to like stand up and learn how to aim correctly, because sometimes you're aimed, sometimes you're not, sometimes you get distracted, sometimes somebody knocks on the door and all of a sudden you like turn real quick to say no, and it goes places.
Oh my God.
Get over it.
That's
now it's your turn to learn to aim, and we can yell at you for getting it all over the place too.
One of my kids, when they were little, we were like, don't interrupt him, because he would just turn, and the pee would just go all the way around the bathroom.
Well, see, you don't turn your whole body. Like, as an adult, you don't turn your whole body. But still, if you turn your upper body, like, sometimes everything's connected. So you turn one side, it's still gonna follow. So it's gonna like wiggle around. Sorry, this is probably a lot more than you want to know about men peeing, but
but I'm thinking, Frances, so now you've got something. So behind the bathroom door, it's also for men too. Like, there's got to be another something, like, keep the pee in the direction. I don't know.
Do you guys have more products like this for, like, you know, women's issues in the works?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's the whole idea behind Awkward Essentials. Just we want to be able to talk about these things, like, openly, because
for sure
we're all going through them. I mean, I use this example a lot, but I can't tell you how many times I've taken like a pair of tweezers to my crotch to like pick out an ingrown hair.
Oh my God.
You know,
I just finished dating this guy who didn't know that women did that, like picked out their ingrown hairs with tweezers, and he thought it was the weirdest thing. He was like, why? Like, why would you do that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, literally every girl does it. Like, I don't know who you've been dating before.
This dude sounds weirder and weirder every time
I've never had. I don't know that I've ever had it.
I mean,
no. But
I've had to do it on my face and my neck before.
Right, I've seen it in other places. Like, I just didn't know. So
I mean, we'll get to it eventually. But our friends at Manscaped, like, that's kind of the point, is that they're like, hey, there are no ingrown hairs, because even as a guy, when you trim your bush down there, like, eventually if you're using a crappy set of clippers, you do get an ingrown hair. So I don't know, like.
But just FYI, to cover our asses, you know, the lawyer and me, Manscaped says we can't say there are no ingrown hairs because that can still happen.
But they try to prevent them
minimize.
Because
yes,
yeah,
sorry,
I've
Manscaped
even had to go down there with a
so
pair of tweezers, and it hurts like a bitch, and then it looks weird.
It looks
and luckily, I'm in a committed relationship where my wife doesn't look and go, "What the hell are you about to give me?"
Okay,
like, she just knows. He's like, "Oh, you got an ingrown hair? Yeah, you're fine."
So I love it. I will tell you, I had one friend though. Can I tell in college who had a really great sexy night with her boyfriend and everything, and the next day we used to do like this Sunday brunch was a big thing and lots of fun. And she was in line to get food at Sunday brunch after a weekend of fun. She doesn't like to wear underwear. Splooge was dripping out of her. And there's this big white blah, you know, on the floor next to her. And that was, oh my God. So now I want to send her the Dripstick because, yeah. Could you imagine how mortifying?
That might be one of the greatest stories I've ever heard.
I honestly love this. I think it's like this product was invented. Like you read my mind and you invented this product. It's just so utilitarian. You're right. And like there's nothing like when you were talking about the spatula, you know what I was thinking of? Have you seen those like mini spatulas that you put into like smaller things to get like the last drop out of it? Yeah. Kind of like that. But I was like,
that's why I saw the handle on the Dripstick and I wondered, is that designed to also be used as a spatula?
No, it's just for grip. So you can like twist it.
Okay.
And so you don't like leave it in there and put your pants back on.
Yeah. Right. Oh, that's a good point. Don't leave it in there. Okay. And how do you sell the Dripsticks? How much are they?
So we're online right now at awkwardessentials.com. 10 pack for 15, 20 pack for 25. We have a 69 pack and a 100 pack, which honestly were jokes, but they sell really well. And I wonder how these people have this much time, but I'm very happy for them.
Well, maybe it's like for swingers clubs or something. I don't know. Or,
yeah, totally. You know, I mean,
or just one stop, you stock up and then you go. So
we haven't been around that long, but I mean, there's some people who've bought multiple 100 packs, which is impressive.
Wow.
Hey, good for them. If they have the time and the energy.
Yes.
Go
very,
for
very
it.
excited for them.
Get it.
For real. And is this product safe for like all women, I guess, of like sexually active age to use? Like, you know, or is there like you have to be older or you shouldn't use it when you're pregnant or, you know, stuff like that? Or is it safe basically?
So we only recommend it for cum or spooge, you know, and we found that everyone's bodies are kind of different. So there are some people that it hasn't really worked for, and it's totally fine. They'll email us and let us know. But for the most part, anyone who is, you know, getting cum in can use it. If you are pregnant, we do recommend speaking with your OB, just because there are some cases when you're pregnant and they don't recommend like any penetration whatsoever from anything.
Right.
So just to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay. You can always go and check. And one thing we had talked about before that surprised me. So you've gotten some pushback, like some concern, like people thinking that maybe your advocacy is a certain view of sexy, like, oh, sexy has to be neat. You have to be clean afterwards. But that's not really you, is it? Like,
no, I mean, our product is just if it bothers you. If it doesn't, then it's totally fine. Like we've had people DM us and say, oh, I really like the feeling the next day. Like I like to like feel his stuff when I'm at work. And we're like, that's great. Like, you know, good for you. And so we try to make it very clear that it's strictly for like your own personal comfort. If it's something that you don't like, and if you do, it's not a big deal. But I think because historically a lot of products have been created by men in the past for women, there's this like sense of hesitation when something new comes to market that's related to your vagina or vulva or just like anywhere down there. And so if someone doesn't take the time to kind of like read who we actually are or how we're trying to help, then that conclusion gets jumped to fairly like every once in a while.
Yeah. Because I also think that there's so many feminine products out on the market that are like just generally probably not good for you, like with smells and aromas and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
all
like
the douches and stuff that try to, and they try and tell you that your scent isn't good. It's not just like, hey, if you want a different one or whatever or something. It's a judgment.
But I mean, this is like something completely different. And I think, I can see how it could get like a little bit misconstrued, but obviously like your point is very, very valid. And I'm like, don't let them like knock you down, because it is hard enough. And I know, so I'm on TikTok. Tina's helped me actually graduate to TikTok that I never thought I'd do. And in just 5 weeks or something, I've had 2 videos taken down for being falsely accused of nudity or I don't know, sexual activity and something. And meanwhile, I'm fully clothed. But there's so many ways that the society just knocks you down just because you want to talk. And so that's such bullshit. So if somebody wants to challenge you or question you about whether this is a good product or what your mission is, I just think they should have the chance to do it directly and not just publicly sort of shame you in bullshit stuff. So
yeah, TikTok is a tough place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's been great. I mean, it's been great for us because our product is unusual and I guess controversial to people. So it has been really kind to us, but it also has been very unkind at the same time.
Yeah. I think I actually saw your product on TikTok. Like that was the first time I ever saw it. And that's when I told them about it. So I think that's how I originally found out about you guys. And I thought it was like such a good idea. So, are you guys, so do you sell only on awkwardessentials.com, or are you like on Amazon or another retail, or just right now?
So we're expanding into like small boutique retail right now.
Okay.
So you'll see us in more places very soon. Can't really say anything yet, but for now we're just awkwardessentials.com.
Okay.
And I got to ask you, I've been told that to bring a vibrator to market might cost, upwards of $250,000 minimum sort of thing. How much did you have to invest in getting your product made? Because it looks small and inexpensive, but I know you went through a bunch of different iterations of it. So how did you do
definitely that? Not that much, because there's no like mechanical components. But it was a lot of time and just trial and error. I initially tracked down like a medical manufacturer, and I had to go back and forth with them on a design. I mean, it was literally something I like drew on a piece of paper. I was like, can you do this?
Really?
And so it wasn't super complicated. It was just like a minimum viable product. Is this going to work? Are people even going to understand what this is? Because when I first started talking about this, people just, they couldn't wrap their minds around it because it didn't exist. And I didn't have it in my hand, so they couldn't see it. They just, like, there was a lot of assumptions that it was like a wipe or kind of like, those like booger suction things. Like people kind of thought it was like a suction machine or
turkey baster,
like a nose Frida or something. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, no, it is a sponge to absorb afterwards. But I think because it just didn't exist in the world, people had a hard time imagining it. And so I had to take a risk, and I felt like if I had the product in my hand, people would get it. And so I did invest like the majority of my savings into the first like 20,000 that I purchased, which is typically a risk they tell you not to take, but I did. And so my parents' house was full of cum sponges, and I had to, throw together a website myself. Could not afford an anatomical like vagina on Amazon. They're really expensive. Like the ones
they are. I've looked.
They're so expensive. It's crazy. Yeah. And so that's where our Twinkie video started, just because I couldn't
I remember your Twinkie video.
That's so clever though.
It's very, very clever. Yeah.
And so that was how we kind of first got kicked off. And the day after the website was live, we accidentally went viral in the UK because like some writer from Huffington Post UK found our website somehow, or maybe saw, I think I posted it on a few Facebook groups, like, hey, what do you think? Like, would love feedback. Well, I was ready to ship like, a box of 10, like for the month or whatever. But because she did an article about us, it kind of spread like wildfire all over the UK, which I wasn't even shipping to the UK because I was just trying to see if people would be interested in this. And that's kind of how we got our start.
Yeah. Interesting.
Did you
Wow.
then start shipping to the UK?
I think so, but it's like really expensive. It was like really expensive. I was just
Do you
like this
ship-
person.
Do you ship worldwide now, I'm guessing?
Yeah, so we do ship to the EU and Australia and Canada.
EU, Australia, and Canada. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Because we have a bunch of listeners abroad. So just in case they want to know.
For some reason in Ireland. Yes, we're very excited to do our first world tour, and Ireland will be like our big stop. So,
that's cool.
The luck of the Irish. So, yeah.
I would love to know, like, what did your parents think when you started, like, or your friends and stuff, or like when their garage was full of cum sponges, you know, and you, like, what was their initial reaction?
It's so funny because people ask me what my dad thinks about this, like, all the time, right? I think they kind of, I don't know, assume that he's like disowned me or something because of the nature of this product and like the industry. But my dad's also like an entrepreneur, founder, brain type person, totally different industry, like software, like just more serious industry, like opposite. But in his mind, he's like, okay, cool. You found a problem. You created a solution. Now just go execute that solution. Like in his mind, it's just, it's a business. Like he doesn't care about the industry or what I'm talking about. And he's just like, well, you know, you use toilet paper for your butt. So what's the difference?
That's what I was thinking is who invented toilet paper? Because shouldn't we be thanking them? So, yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the necessity is the mother of innovation or invention or whatever it is. Yeah. So like, that's the thing is that's every single person in the world wishes that they could sit there and look at something and go, here's a problem. Here's a solution nobody has ever come up with. Ta-da. And use it and get it to market. And you've done something that so many people, wish they could do. You know how many people like literally will sit down with power tools and like, I have ideas that I've tried before and I can't get the engineering to work out, or I do it. And by the time I do it, I sit there and I'm like, okay, to make 5 of these would take 4 days. So I'd have to sell one product at like $1,500 for, a wrench. That's not really, that's not a necessity. So you've done something by just looking at something that you had to deal with that I'm not going to say necessarily a problem, but something that you wanted a solution to. And you went, okay, what if I do this, this, and this? Will people like it? And all of a sudden it catches on. Like, I don't know anybody who doesn't dream of looking at something in their regular life and go, hey, I wish I could come up with a solution. And then you look around and you're like, oh, there already is a solution for that. Like,
thank you.
How many people like,
it's huge. I think she's totally to be commended, especially because it's an area that so many people are just afraid. They're afraid to tell other people that they're even thinking about sexy stuff, that there's any issue, there's any concern, that they're not just either free and easy or don't give a shit about sexy. One of those two things. So
yeah, it's hard. I mean, especially in this particular space, right? Because it's even like the pleasure stuff is already so awkward for people. And this is like after the fun thing. So I'm like, okay, but like after the thing that you see in like porn and in books, like that's the thing that I want to talk about. So it definitely took a few key like people and moments to kind of push me to keep going. Cause it's hard. Like you said, people just, I think they want to help by telling you why it won't work because they don't want to see you fail, which I completely understand. Like your friends don't want to see you fail or be sad or something not work out. So they'll be like, well, okay, they already have wipes out there, or like, why can't you just use a towel? And I don't think there's any negative intentions. It's just they don't want to see something bad happen to you.
Yeah.
I mean, your product is definitely innovative. You're the first thing I've ever seen like this. So, you know, I think that you created, it is really cool. You created something just completely new and needed, I would say.
Yeah.
And scary. I mean, like it came out of my brain, right? So I'm just like, I don't know if other people are gonna like get this or if it makes sense to them. I think it will, but
So I think that I mean, when I first saw it, I was just like blown away because like it's. I wish there was something like this out there. Like it was like, who invented this? Like what? Like how? This is so needed. So
I can't wait to see the TV commercials. I hope you're working on those because there's got to be. It should be mainstream. I know that's the name of your other product, but the Dripstick should be mainstream. Everybody should know. They can choose to use it or not choose to use it, but they should know it's available to them, just like tampons, just like Viagra.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that kind of stuff, it all came mainstream. And actually, this is going to like dovetail into what I was thinking about. Like birth control became mainstream when more and more sitcoms picked it up and stuff like that. And you probably don't, you're too young. Know where I'm going. Like, how many people have you approached or have asked you about it, gone like, oh, hey, like, didn't you get that idea from Seinfeld, but you just put a stick on it kind of thing?
I think Seinfeld. So not enough people actually remember that episode. Like,
oh my God.
Every once in a while, I'm sorry. I'm
really?
so sorry. If I just
no, not you.
I'm sorry.
Not you. No, her. I'm surprised that Beth doesn't know it because it's okay. So I'll explain the premise. The whole thing is that Elaine, the female of the group, she's always like in their giant friend group. It's always like the female's responsibility to take care of the birth control, which again is really weird to me. That's always been an awkward thing because like even as a teenager when I was watching it, I was like, I would look at my parents and I'd be like, wait, what? And they're like, no, it's not the woman's responsibility. It's both people's responsibility, dumbass. If you don't have condoms in your drawer, you're an idiot. I was like, oh, okay. Well, good to know I'm normal.
Yeah.
But she's running around town because there was a birth control method that was called the sponge that basically, I guess you would stick up there and it would like absorb everything and then you would get rid of it. Yeah.
Yes.
But obviously, like this isn't birth control, so I'm not putting out any. I'm not trying to give you guys any or give any listeners false pretense. This isn't birth control, but the idea of the sponge, like when you first brought it up to me, Tina, I was like, and so then like that Seinfeld episode kept playing in my head, and I was like, oh, so it's like a sponge you like.
Oh, that you keep in there during sexy. Yeah, don't.
No, not like that, but just the idea of a sponge, like like how many people have thought, honestly, like. Billions of times that episode has been watched now with reruns. Nobody else has thought of like, hey, instead of like a birth control method, like it could actually be a good cleanup method. So good on you for that one. But I just didn't know how many people have associated it with.
So you've seen the episode.
Maybe I'm too old.
Yeah, I have seen the episode. And every once in a while, someone will like totally bring it up or mention the birth control sponge. I don't know if it's still in the market, to be honest.
I don't think so because I know a lot of failures from that. So because I was around, that was my college when the sponge came out and stuff.
It is a similar material though, right? So it is like a soft, like squishy sponge material. There's just no additives. So ours is like absolutely zero additives, no like scent, smells, nothing. Because to your point earlier, there's so much stuff on the market that has additives.
For sure.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good. Yeah. So do you think that just so post-sex, if I was, would I just need one sponge or is it something where you need a couple of them generally?
Kind of depends on your partner.
Okay. Okay. But generally?
Generally just one is good. Okay. We didn't want it to be overly absorbent because like we don't want it to be overly drying for the vaginal canal. There's some people who've emailed us that, use more than one or want an extra large, but we also want to be cognizant that we have a lot of men that purchase for their wives, which is really interesting. I think because it's utilitarian, they're like, oh, she's complained about this, I can fix it, here's a solution. And so
would go through every man's mind.
And so
you have a complaint, there's a way I can fix this, hold on, let me figure it out.
So I'd be nervous to have an extra large version, to be honest, because I wouldn't want someone accidentally buying a bigger size
oh my God,
and then drying out their partner.
Right. I think that's a good point. Right. We don't want that ego to enter into the practicality, and better have a little bit extra fluid, but I'm kind of with you. But I think it'd be good, even if you're single as a man, I think having those and condoms is just a thoughtful prep to have.
I would love to hook up with a guy who had this product in his like bathroom.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah. I think that would be good.
It's interesting because every once in a while we'll have a guy email us and he'll want a return or like a refund because he purchased it for his partner and she's like kind of not happy about it. So I think it says something about like communication, right? For sure. You and your partner, like, is it something that makes sense to just share the link instead of just surprising them with? Because I think everyone feels differently about the situation. I mean, some people are still like wildly embarrassed, which is, I understand as well.
Yeah. And I totally get like the kink thing too, because I know a lot of people have like that breeding fetish or whatever. So yeah, I understand that also. But generally,
there are definitely, it's sometimes, and lots of people can have for whatever reason that they like the idea of a guy coming in them and then it's staying in there is definitely can be appealing. But however you do it, I don't know. I guess I'm thinking like if you're a single person and you bring people back, well, hell, even at my house, I don't bring dates back necessarily, but I have extra toothbrushes and extra mouthwash in case I have guests or people that stay over or whatever in need. So I'm thinking you just have this along with that. And if they want it, it's there. If they don't want it, it's not there. Like floss. I don't like floss. I have particular sticks I like. So, it's okay. But yeah, it's a great conversation. I think it's a really important conversation.
Yeah, I mean, communication in this situation is definitely key. Like with most, I think, like behind the door problems with women and stuff.
Well, and with respect to sex. So, we're all about, if you can't talk about it, you're probably not going to have great sexy.
Yeah.
It's just, if you've got your hangups, and we all have our hangups, we all start with it. God knows I did. But it's important, I think, to try to bring things forward. And this product definitely helps that kind of conversation go. So,
and you've saved so
it.
many towels from being sacrificed.
Yeah, but actually, it's not true, because the towel is sort of for the outside. The towel isn't just for what's dripping out, right? By the time, and because it could drip out before you use the dripstick. But a towel, it could be when they come all over and stuff. So I think there's still reasons to have sexy towels and dripstick, because different,
why not?
Different things. So.
Anyway. Well, this was great.
Yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything else? Anything you want to tell our listeners? Anything you want them to know about you or your products or anything like that?
Just, you can find us at awkwardessentials.com.
Mm-hmm.
Feel free to reach out to us anytime. Happy to answer questions. We get a lot of emails about things that are all across the board, and happy to help if we can. We're at hey@awkwardessentials.com, and all our social handles are at Awkward Essentials.
Okay. And you guys are on like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, obviously.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Our TikTok is wild if you aren't.
You should definitely look at their TikTok. It's amazing.
All right. I'm going to follow you. I'm Beth Darling, Sexy Genius. So you can find me there too. So yeah. This is terrific. Thank you, Frances. Appreciate you making time first thing early in the morning for us. And it's a pleasure. And listeners, tell us, Aaron, you want to tell them how to find us? So give us your stories. Tell us what you think, and if you try things, and what you think about.
Yeah. You can find us on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Come With Us Podcast, on Twitter at Come With Us Pod. DMs are open on all three of those. You can find Beth on TikTok now. If you're into one of those like cool kid fad things, I'm still.
Does that mean I'm a cool kid? Because I've never been a cool kid.
I mean, to everybody but
life.
me, because I'm always Captain Counterculture and like squares and I don't know. That's
I'm the old lady on TikTok.
But yes, TikTok. You can also email us if you don't think it's long, or if you think it's too long for a DM. Hit us up in the email, comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. That's comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Your thoughts, your questions, your concerns, anything you got, just hit us up. We read it. We won't read your name on air if you want us to read it on air, or if you want us to just respond to a personal question that you have. Like I said, I've responded to wives emailing me questions about their husbands. I'm like, okay, I'll be your sounding board for a guy, and I'll give you what I think he's saying. That's it. So yeah, hit us up anytime. comewithusconfessions@gmail.com, or find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok now.
All right. And also, everybody, you can go to sexyedschool.com and sign up there to stay in touch with me, and also my YouTube, Beth Darling, Sexy Genius. So anywhere and everywhere on all the social media. So, all right. Well, thank you. Appreciate you so much, Frances. And congratulations on the products, the babies, and can't wait to see what you come up with next. But I like
thank you
the way
for
that
having
you
me.
think. You're welcome. All right. Big hugs and love. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for Come With Us podcast, where you get the bare naked truth about love, sex, and relationships, the good, the bad, and the drippy. Big hugs and love.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Come With Us podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at Come With Us Podcast, and send in your questions, comments, and confessions to comewithusconfessions@gmail.com. Until next time, keep it fun, flirty, and naughty.